In the quaint village of Aqua, nestled between the rolling hills and the serene ocean, there lived a young girl named Alice. She was a breathtaking beauty, with piercing green eyes and raven black hair that cascaded down her back like a waterfall. But what made Alice truly remarkable was her intellect. She was a child prodigy, with an uncanny ability to speak fluent English and answer complex questions without ever glancing at a book. Alice's mother, a wise and kind woman named Maria, had always known that her daughter was special. She had watched Alice grow up, marveling at her remarkable gifts and abilities. But what Maria didn't know was that Alice's exceptional talents were not just a product of her genetics or environment. There was something more, something mystical and otherworldly, that set Alice apart from the rest. Unbeknownst to Maria, Alice had a spiritual husband, a marine spirit who had been watching over her since birth. This spirit, who went by the name of King Neptune, had been tasked with protecting Alice and guiding her on her life's journey. And as Alice grew older, King Neptune's influence over her became stronger, imbuing her with incredible abilities and insights. But Alice's life took a dramatic turn when her earthly husband, a kind and gentle man named John, came to claim her. John, who had been away at sea for many years, had heard about Alice's remarkable gifts and had come to take her as his wife. And as they exchanged their vows, King Neptune appeared to Alice, warning her that she would have to choose between her spiritual husband and her earthly one. Alice, torn between her love for John and her loyalty to King Neptune, made a difficult decision. She chose to stay with John, and King Neptune, respecting her wishes, released her from his spiritual bond. But the consequences of Alice's decision were far-reaching. King Neptune's influence over her began to wane, and she started to lose her remarkable gifts and abilities. As Alice struggled to come to terms with her new reality, she began to experience strange and terrifying occurrences. She would hear voices in her head, urging her to return to the sea and reclaim her spiritual heritage. And she would see visions of King Neptune standing on the shore, beckoning her to come back to him. Desperate for help, Alice turned to the local deliverance ministry, seeking their assistance in ridding her of the malevolent spirits that were haunting her. But as she attended the prayer sessions, she began to feel a creeping sense of dread. The spirits, it seemed, were not going to let her go without a fight. One fateful day, as Alice was on her way to the prayer house, she felt an intense, burning anger rising up within her. She tried to shake it off, but it only grew stronger until she could feel her body being consumed by an otherworldly rage. And then, in a flash of insight, she knew what she had to do. With a fierce cry, Alice ran to the nearby stream, packing out her cosmetics without touching the water. And then, with a speed and agility that belied her human form, she ran down to the church, her long hair flowing behind her like a river of night. It was then that the villagers realized the truth about Alice. She was not just a gifted child, but a mermaid, a creature of the sea, with powers and abilities that defied human understanding. As the news of Alice's true nature spread, the villagers began to treat her with a mixture of awe and reverence. They would gather around her, listening in rapt attention as she told stories of her life under the sea. And they would watch in wonder as she performed feats of incredible strength and agility, her mermaid powers still lingering within her. But Alice's happiness was short-lived. As she settled into her new life on land, she began to feel the effects of her separation from King Neptune. She grew weak and sick, her body craving the nourishment of the sea. And it was then that John, her earthly husband, came to her rescue. With a love and devotion that knew no bounds, John nursed Alice back to health, caring for her with a tenderness that touched her very soul. And as she recovered, Alice realized that she had made the right decision in choosing John over King Neptune. For with John, she had found a love that was pure and true, a love that would stay with her for all eternity. And so, as Alice looked into John's eyes, she knew that she had finally found her true home.